I know that some of you have been asking me for some time now to make some Korean recipes, and today is your day. And it all starts with this leftover jar of kimchi. That's why I want to make today my Korean Spicy Kimchi Noodles. They're slightly sweet and tangy cold noodles with a kick. And they're the perfect resourceful summertime meal. So come on, grab your jar of kimchi and I'll show you how to make this. I like to say this is the ultimate bits and pieces meal because I literally decided to make this because I only had little bits and pieces of these ingredients left. And all you're gonna need for my Korean spicy kimchi noodles is soba noodles, kimchi, gochujang, soy sauce, sesame oil, sugar, rice vinegar, spring mix lettuce, corn syrup, sesame seeds, cucumber, and eggs. Now, don't be scared by the word gochujang if you don't know what it is. It's just Korean hot red pepper paste. I actually use a lot of gochujang, but they sell them in tiny, like micro sizes too. And nowadays, the cool thing is you can actually find it in some of the normal grocery stores too. It's usually in some sort of red container. So it's basically just red peppers that were ground up and mixed with a couple of other flavors to make a paste. And this is like supposed to be the next sriracha. I'm gonna start out with 1 tablespoon of gochujang. This has its own flavor. It's sweet too, it's not just spicy. To that, you gotta add a little bit more salt. So I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sugar. To balance it out, I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. You could always use you could use apple cider vinegar too if that's all you have. And then 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. And the last touch, I mean, technically, if you want to skip it, you could, but I happen to have it. So I'm using 1 tablespoon of light corn syrup. Everything I had was just like little bits and pieces in the bottles left. Now, if you don't have all these ingredients on hand, say you're not into Korean cooking, this is all new, then it definitely won't be resourceful because you'll have to go out and buy everything. But if you are Korean, you probably already have all of these ingredients in your pantry right now. The corn syrup adds this kind of silkiness to the sauce. It makes it glossy and shiny. So without it, it's not gonna have that same effect. There is one more ingredient I have to add to the sauce, and that's kimchi juice, but I'm gonna wait until I chop up my kimchi first. I'm gonna slice up some cucumber first just to get out of the way before my board gets too messy. And I have these tiniest little cucumbers, and I just happen to have them, so that's what I'm gonna use. You can use an English cucumber, a regular cucumber. I'm just gonna julienne them so they're just nice thin strips. That's just for the topping on the noodles at the end. And I also have some spring mix lettuce. And you can add this, you don't have to add it. I just add a little bit because I feel like it's so leafy and pretty. Now it's time for the kimchi. And I have this like huge jar of kimchi because Joe is a kimchi lover. He will eat kimchi with pasta, with pizza, with everything. That's the sign of a true Korean. And there's different levels of ripeness for kimchi if you don't know. It's just fermented cabbage. So the longer it sits, the more fermented, the more sour it gets. But the thing about kimchi being resourceful is that you never throw it away. When you cook it up, it turns less sharp, and so it won't be super sour like that. And so you'll see Koreans use it a lot in kimchi stew, kimchi soup, kimchi fried rice. If it tastes like purely raw cabbage that's salted, it's not ripe yet. You just have to let it sit in your fridge a little longer. And I'm just gonna measure out a drained cup of kimchi. I kind of secretly love the fact that kimchi has become so popular, and I feel like it's so commonplace now. A lot of chefs use it, even fine dining restaurants have it. You'll see it a lot on different menus. And before I close up my jar, I'm gonna add in 2 tablespoons of kimchi juice. So just get in there and grab that juice with a tablespoon. I'm gonna add it to my sauce with the gochujang. Just whisk until it's nicely combined, smooth. And the last touch is to slice up that kimchi. So we have a cup of drained kimchi and a little juice will be in there, but that's good too. Just cut it up smaller so it's like in little thin ribbons. I will say if you're not used to the smell of kimchi, it's gonna blow your socks off, but it's oh so tasty too. I'm like pretty messy right now, so I'm just gonna wash up I'm gonna cook up some soba noodles, fry up some eggs, and I'll show you how I put everything together. It's pretty much done. The only cooking you're gonna have to do is boil up some noodles and fry up some eggs. Now typically with Bibimguksu or Korean Spicy Kimchi Noodles, you do use kind of like a white somen noodle instead, but I don't have it and I tend to grab soba noodles instead. So I'm gonna use that. That's a Japanese buckwheat noodle. And then I go for about 9 to 10 ounces of soba noodles for 2 people. So that's roughly about 3 of those bundles if they come in the package like that. You just boil it until it's cooked, but not mushy. And then you just drain it and rinse it in cold water, just kind of like you're doing the laundry by hand. You place it into the bottom of bowls and then you top it with sauce, and I'll show that to you later. And then meanwhile, just fry up some eggs sunny side up, and then that will be your garnish at the end. Guys, don't mind the oil splatters all over my shirt if you can see it. I don't know if you can, but my eggs decided to explode in the pan on me. I have no idea why. I'm gonna mix up my sauce with the kimchi. Now make sure that you don't cook your noodles until right before you're about to serve, because as they sit, they turn a little bit gummy. So you just want to make sure that you cook them right when you're about to serve. So I like to put on a little pile of the kimchi on the top. Now some people will mix it together and then serve it, but I kind of like the presentation of making it all separate and then you let the person mix it when you serve it to them. Then a little bit of the sauce. This will help loosen up that clump of soba noodles. Then I'm gonna put in some lettuce. So this is spring mix lettuce because I just think it looks so cute. And a little pile of cucumbers. And then I'm gonna finish it off with the fried egg. Salt and pepper on top, please. Toasted sesame seeds. They sell these in the Korean grocery store already toasted, like in a little jar. I like to put some on the egg and then just some around. And that's it, guys. If you want to, you can top it with some chopped scallions or have fun with it, whatever you want. So I can't wait to taste it. So let's go. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to dig in.
This thing smells so good.
Pop that yolk, make it part of the sauce. That's the fun of making it all separate. It looks so pretty when it's separate too, before it's all mixed up. You know, I don't have those big Korean metal bowls, which is kind of a shame. I think I really need to pick some up, but that would definitely help you with your mixing too, because these are pretty shallow. There's something about Korean food that kind of makes both of us salivate because it reminds us of, you know, familiar things of home, childhood, it's what we grew up with.
Yours looks better than mine. Mine is, it's not a very good bowl for a close-up shot.
Oh, you hear that slurp? That's the way to do it. Yeah, this is Joe's happy place.
Especially because it's a little bit warmer today.
Perfect.
And this cold noodle really hits the spot.
Man, the kimchi is just right. It's like the right amount of ripeness and a little bit of tangy and sour. And then there's the sweetness coming through with the gochujang and all those other things. And it's perfectly just salty, sweet, sour. For substitutions, I mean, there's really nothing I could say because if you omit any of these ingredients, it will have a totally different taste. All I can say though is that if you are scared to buy these Korean ingredients because you don't know what to do with them, then just experiment because they're just like, you know, sriracha was new when it first came out and then you found different ways to use it. So you can do that with the gochujang too. I've seen more and more creative ways people are using gochujang these days. And you can also do the same thing, but use rice instead. Instead of using soba noodles, you can just mix this kimchi and the sauce together with a fried egg over some rice. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this. And if you did, remember to check out our behind the scenes of us making this episode. Be sure to push like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
This is my kind of comfort food.
Just wanna hang out in the park, chill out.
Hang out in the park with your kimchi, with your fermented cabbage.
How we Koreans do.